Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this. Check this out. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of From There to Here. I have some special guests with me today, two of the contestants from the Miss Corporate America competition. You're going to learn about that, about the things that they are bringing awareness to, a little bit about their backgrounds. I have Brittney Quarterman and Phebe Fuqua here with us. Ladies, would you say hello?
Hello.
Hello. You can go first, Brittney. Or you want me to go? It's
You
up
can
to
go
you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you again, Pastor Temple, for allowing us to be on this podcast. And we're just really excited to be on to share our platform. I have the honor of having the title of Miss Daytona Beach, Florida, Corporate America for 2026. And it's been an amazing, interesting journey as well. I've met my new sister friend, Miss Brittney Quarterman, who won the title of Miss Florida Corporate America. And it's
Okay.
so exciting to do this journey with her. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Brittney Quarterman, Miss Florida Corporate America 2026, and thank you so much for having me on today. Like Phoebe just said, we met during competition week and instantly connected. She has been such a blessing to my life, and I am honored to call her sister. But thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. So sisters are a lot stronger than friends. So
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
to hear that. How could both of you maybe share a little of your story as how you came into this competition, or what things in life kind of led you to it?
Yes. So I was familiar with the competition a few years ago. I know a few queens who competed and they won the national title of Miss Corporate America. And it was interesting to see their journey and their transition post the competition. And I've done pageants when I was younger. I was Miss Black Florida Teen 2004, and then also did some pageants when I was younger. So I was like, well, let's try this again. Saying corporate, I'm a corporate female and also an entrepreneur. And I decided to join and compete. So, with this entire journey, you meet a lot of women who are excelling in their career or just launching their platform or their business. And like Brittney said, when I first met her, I was like, it's something about her.
Mhm.
And the Lord dropped in my spirit, was like, you'll connect with her. I was like, she's quiet. She's not even saying anything. It was like, well, you quiet too. I'm like, not really. And so I was wanting to connect and instantly like spirits. It's all about having those like spirits and knowing the connection. And God's compass is the most beautiful compass to ever follow. And that's where I was drawn to Brittney with this competition.
I love that. I love that. Brittany, how about your half of this story?
So, like Phoebe, I also competed in pageants growing up. My mom put me in my first pageant when I was 6 months old. Then I continued for a few years after that, and then again when I became a teenager. But this was my final pageant. I've done pageants for so long, and then you feel like you outgrow different seasons in your life, and that's where I was. I'm a mom now. Recently divorced, so I'm a single mom. So life happens and things change. So
Mhm.
you kind of just go with the flow. But I was like, you know what? My career changed. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 18 years. So I just wanted to just give it one more shot. But with purpose in mind. I feel like God gives you unique abilities, and it's up to us we have free will, right? So
Yeah.
it's up to us to make use of that dash. They say you're born and you die, but what do you do between the dash? That's what God placed you on this earth to do. And I felt like Miss Corporate America was a part of my dash.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
The way you both phrase that, particularly with the dash,
Mhm.
that's very powerful. That's gonna I'm gonna stick with me. I appreciate that. Wait a minute. Well, I guess before we get into the things that you're both like your platforms, um, I, I wear a lot of hats. One of it is as being a high school teacher, teach a sociology class, and we talk about uh gender roles and if things are quote unquote better or more equal for women in all areas than they were, in the past. Could you both talk about your perspectives of being businesswomen and entrepreneurs and being women? Do you still see inequities? Or do you see ways that you need to operate that are different than a man would? Could you talk about that, about the women in business aspect, both of you?
Yes, so my platform is about revitalizing communities as well as individuals. So, focusing on inspired to change and impact to make a difference. I am a land development consultant, architecture engineer, and all my life, literally since I was 13, I started working towards my profession. I did a lot of internships and I was in a design academy, design and manufacturing technology academy in high school. So I was reared into architecture and construction and engineering. And I was the only female
Okay.
a lot of times, and the only Black female a lot of times. And when I went off to college, I went to Florida A&M, architecture engineer major and business major in the same thing. A lot of the rooms, I was the only one going on construction sites or going into bidding meetings. And they were like, oh, the secretary's here. Let's give
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not. And early on, I had to form tough skin. I met a phenomenal woman. She's an engineer and she was a Black, tall, beautiful woman. And she was like, you have to cuss them out. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't curse them out. No, it's not my character. She was like, you better get some tough skin. And I was like, okay, because I would break
Okay.
because I love it so much. And then I would break. So in this profession, in my profession, that it's a lot of times that you are looked as not equal to
Okay.
the man. But what I found is common ground. How can I relate on common ground? Because that's what Jesus did. Jesus went to places where he was not looked upon as, why are you here? But meeting on common ground, that's what I do. And
Okay.
that's how I'm able to relate. And that's the platform, one of the platforms that I have. And then also educating the youth with STEM.
Okay.
So I provide opportunities for STEM as well.
Got that.
Yeah.
Very okay. That's very clear. Oh, just cuss them out. No, I get it. I understand.
Oh, that's not what you do. That's what I was informed.
No,
No,
I
no,
hear
no.
you. Maybe I
But
made that.
meeting on common ground,
Um,
absolutely.
no, I hear you. Maybe I made that the subtitle of the episode. Just cuss them out. Okay, I'm joking. Ms. Quarterman, how about your take on that? You're talking about your platform, but also dealing in the worlds the rooms you move in as a woman today.
So, like you, I wear many hats. In this season, I have come aboard my family's legacy, which they've been in the restaurant industry in Orlando since 1985.
Okay.
So, I work alongside my father, who owns a Legacy Cafe, or I'm co-owner of Legacy Cafe. I've been there for the last couple of years, but now I find myself, now that I'm the creator of a culinary program for teenagers and underserved youth, um, I'm gonna change that. I found myself shrinking in rooms that was male dominated.
Mm,
And for me, is seeing those kids and saying, they need me. So why am I shrinking back what they need? So I had to take initiative and say, no, I belong. No matter how they talk to me, or no matter if they look over me or pass me by for bids. No, these kids need me. Whether they choose to acknowledge that, that's on them. But for me, I have to go with what I know, and I know for a fact that I belong.
Absolutely.
Wow. And I appreciate the fact that you mentioned that at one point you did shrink and then learn to step up, because people tend they pretend like, I had it together all along.
Yeah,
And it sounds like you're saying it was a development journey to get from where you were to how you present yourself today.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
and doing it really shows that you are able and capable of being in those rooms. That's awesome that you did that.
Thank you.
how would you, since both of you have mentioned a focus on youth, and I deal with kids in the public school, how would you talk to, or how do you kind of address young ladies? I know you deal with everyone, but since we're on that topic, how do you address them as far as preparing them for, a world that sometimes is unequal, whatever? Well, how do you talk to them or approach them to prepare them to be able to handle those rooms that may not be used to seeing them?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I think we're back. I lost you for a moment, but we're back. Are you able to hear me both?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry there was a break. But my question is, how do you both deal with young ladies and kind of prepare them to walk into rooms that maybe that aren't always so welcoming?
Think of Brittney.
For me, it's making sure, even in a relaxed environment, you always, always, always present yourself as if you belong here. There is no, you know, um, this is just my friends, or this is just, my home. No, you belong. You take up space no matter where you are, because that once you do it often, it becomes a habit, and that becomes who you are. So you don't feel uncomfortable in any room that you're presented with at any given time. Always be ready.
Okay, always okay. To always be ready. We talked about that somewhat at our mentoring group at school as well. Ms. Phoebe, what would you say on the same line?
I tell them to never make yourself a bite-sized version for someone else to digest.
Oh, goodness.
Because a lot of times when you make yourself feel smaller, you're compromising the God-given purpose inside of you, and you scan the room. And that's how you're able to own the room. I tell a lot of my mentees, or anyone I would pour into, is when you walk in the room should tilt when you enter it, because your presence will shift the atmosphere. And that's where I would tell them just to own it. Just like Brittney was saying, just own who you are and be confident in that and know that you belong.
I love that wording of tilting the room, and you both talked about the concept of taking up space and not shrinking. The tilting the room, that's really powerful metaphor.
Yes.
Um, we've touched a little bit on your various platforms, but I'd like to give you both a chance to go even deeper into the platforms that you're both representing through Miss Corporate America. Both of you, please.
Okay. Um, I'm the CEO and founder of Elite Eagle Developments. I own also other companies, a transport company and cleaning companies as well. So it's Elite Eagle Transport, as well as other subsidiaries of Elite Eagle Developments. With that, I revitalize communities throughout the United States as well as internationally. I'm doing consulting with either larger companies, smaller companies, municipalities, and prime ministers, being advisors for a lot of the prime ministers and presidents internationally. With that being said, I carried on what I do in my profession, um, inspired to change and impact to make a difference, revitalizing communities. With that, that is a part of my platform. I also provide STEM opportunities. As I've spoken on your previous podcast, I started flying when I was 17 years old, so aviation is a part of my life. And the Robert B. Griffin chapter, the Florida chapter of Black Pilots of America is another outlet and nonprofit organization that I expose a lot of the youth and college students to aviation, and not just the flying component, but also the mechanics, the business side, the brokerage side, air traffic control, every moving part, even if they want to be a physician. So I expose them to that.
Okay.
Also have Career Catalyst Connection is a career mentoring organization where I expose a lot of the children. So I place them in front of their career. When I was younger, someone did that for me. My parents were big on exposure and I had a
Hmm.
lot of mentors. So that's why early on, when I say I've been doing it since I was 13,
Okay.
that's why, because someone exposed me and allowed me to make that decision very early. And that's what I do for a lot of the young students. And the medical side, I had breast cancer as well as live with the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. So educating people on health, the breast cancer component and the multiple sclerosis, and all of that
Yes.
to me is revitalizing communities. You have to start with the health, you
Okay.
have to expose the next generation and refine the current generation, and not just eliminating blight and slum in buildings, but
Hmm.
sometimes you eliminate the blight and slum within yourself. And
Yes.
that's what I do, transform the mind. And I take that holistic approach in my profession. And with this platform, that's why I wanted to be a part of this platform, this organization, to really push my platform in another sector to say, listen, I'm still revitalizing, even with the title. And that's where the sisterhood and coming in and partnering with all of my sisters, part of the Queen's Court, Brittney's Queen Court, and she's a sweetheart where we're the like-minded spirits connecting to really push forward the vision that God placed inside of me.
I get it. That is so clear. Well, the theme of wearing multiple hats is one I'm hearing from both of
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
Ms. Quarterman, how about you? More into what you're passionate about and your platform, please.
So I am the CEO and founder of Plated Purpose Culinary Program. It's a culinary and hospitality program for kids with unique abilities as well as young people. Our apprenticeship starts between the ages of 15 to 19, where we take them on for 8 weeks and we train them in everything from culinary to hospitality. We give them financial literacy, soft skill training, and we prepare them if they want to go into entrepreneurship. We show them the side of entrepreneurship, how to run a small business. We have mentors that come in and mentor them. But the great part about this program is they get paid to
Wow.
learn these skills. You get paid to fail. Like that would be so awesome. Like this is something I would want to do. Like I don't want it to be an expensive lesson, but let me get paid to learn a lesson
Okay.
and fail at it. That's something that's really unheard of nowadays because everybody is they want you to perform. You get a job, you have to
Hmm.
perform. You don't perform, you get fired. Like so I wanted to create a safe haven in our family's restaurant, Legacy Cafe, which is located down in downtown Orlando next to Camping World Stadium. So they
Okay.
have access to the Camping World. We have concession stands in there. We have them in the arena. So they get a full broad picture of it. They can go on the catering side. Just last year, our students got to participate with another nonprofit organization feeding 1,000 people. Just imagine you saying, I've been at this job for this training for 4 weeks and I just fed 1,000 people.
Mm.
Yeah.
Jesus himself fed 5,000 with two fish.
Yeah.
Like, and
Okay.
that's the thing, like when you feel insignificant, and I always downplay, okay, I have this little culinary program that only had 5 students. But when I really look at when I say I want to be the hands and feet of Jesus, that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing because it only took 2 fish and 5 loaves. Like that was a miracle in itself. So it doesn't matter how small you start, it's the impact that makes the difference. So
Okay.
that's what my when my family started in 85, they started at one level and now it has grown generation. I'm a third generation restaurateur and it
Wow.
has grown into something that's going to impact the lives and legacies of families to come.
Nice.
That is amazing. I loved how you tied uh the Bible into that. That was amazing. I
Yeah.
I get it. And it's as someone who's a minister myself, who sometimes doesn't have a large congregation, what you said about
Mhm.
impacting that small, quote unquote, group of people, that is so powerful. That actually leads me in the last couple of minutes I have here. Just the thing I wanted to ask you both. Both of you have made reference to your faith and how it impacts what you do. Would either one of you mind expanding on that just a little bit in these about 3 minutes or so till my timer goes off? Please, if both of you would say something about it, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, if God gave the vision, He will always make the provision. I'm a living testimony that you can maximize on your life. I told God because of all the things that I've gone through. I'm an ordained minister, and as I've been pouring into people, I said, God, I'm so full of purpose and full of a lot of things. I want to die empty. I want to rob the grave. I want to really make that impact because the graveyard, as Miles Monroe says, is the richest place because people die with so much purpose and
Yeah.
so much and filled with so many things. And I want to rob the grave. So when I go, people can say she made impact. She really poured out everything that's here and everything that's here. I want to pour out to people. That's why I'm always about inspiring to change and impact to make a difference. And I'm serious about that because that's what God commissioned me to do. I'm literally walking in my God-given purpose. And I want to continue to be obedient and be that vessel of honor. Everything that I do, whether it's in the profession, whether it's walking through the grocery store, I want to make that impact because I'm so passionate about helping people get to where God has for them.
Love that. And Ms. Quarterman, you too.
I think for me, it's just growing. Every day, you have to look at every day as a gift. And when you realize that you are a gift for someone else, you realize that you're an anchor for someone that could be drifting away. So when you realize that you're anchored, when your faith is anchored, you're saving somebody else's life.
Amen.
So you just have to focus on what God is doing through you and realize that your life is not your own.
That
And
is so
that's
impactful. I
it.
get it. Thank you both ladies for sharing what you shared today. It sounds like you've covered everything, business, personal, spiritual, everything.